Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in today. On this episode, I thought we would talk about something that has interested me since I first heard it announced. I'm a big Steven Spielberg fan, big fan of all of his movies, most of his movies, but especially the Alien ones. I think that's probably where my interest, spark, love of aliens first started. Obviously, Close Encounters is a big one. E.T. is a big one. I was even a big fan of the War of the Worlds movie that Steven Spielberg did, 20 years ago at this point. But now he's back in the game. He has a new Alien movie in the works. It's called The Dish. Tentative, I think it's a tentative title. He revealed this at a IMAX investor presentation the other day. Again, not sure if that's going to be the final title, but it's called The Dish. So Steven Spielberg is working on a new UFO movie. Fantastic. The release date, May 15th, 2026. So two years away, which I think seems soon, especially with not a lot about this movie being out. Writer David Koepp is coming back. Directed or wrote for Jurassic Park, Lost World, War of the Worlds. So he's worked with Steven on alien stuff. And Christy Krieger, another kind of collaborator, Steven Spielberg. She worked on The Fabelmans, West Side Story, and Ready Player One. Those are, including Steven Spielberg, those are the three preliminary production people. I'm going to change this lighting going on in the background real quick. Sorry, guys. Those are the three people slated to be in the production. I'm sure things are moving fairly quickly, and also some of the actors being talked about with this film. Emily Blunt, love Emily Blunt, and Josh O'Connor playing lead roles in the film. Again, not too much about the film is known just yet, just that it's going to be a UFO movie. It's been a while since Spielberg has done one of these, so I think it's going to be interesting, and especially with a lot of the kind of UFO, UAP, alien stuff going on. I think the timing of this is pretty interesting. If you pay attention to any of the UFO stuff at all, there's a lot going on. There's a big push for disclosure. There's a lot of stuff going on in the government. I feel like at this point, we're closer than we've ever been to finding out, what's going on. Are these things real? Are there other beings? Are there other civilizations, maybe even on the planet? And I think Steven Spielberg has known a lot about this stuff on a deeper level than shown in his movies. And I think he gets he talks to a lot of people in the space. Obviously, it's something that's super interesting to him. Obviously, it's a big subject for him and kind of is a big part of his career too. And he's a huge nerd about this stuff. So he knows he's keyed in to all this UFO stuff. So what is this movie going to be? Is this going to be kind of a push towards disclosure? Is this going to be something to get the general American public okay with the possibility that, there are aliens or non-human or, non-human life forms or ultra, extra dimensional, whatever you want to call them, kind of life forms out there? Maybe they're psychic life forms, or maybe we're subservient to a different species that's out there. They let us run amok up here while they test on us, or whatever it might be. I think Steven Spielberg is probably the guy to make or present the case to the public, if that's what this movie is. Maybe he just wants to do another alien movie because he thinks all the stuff going on right now in terms of disclosure, all that stuff is really cool, and he just wants to get back to making alien movies. But I have a feeling there's more going on here than just, he wants to make another alien movie. So just to give everybody a little, or catch them up a little bit on what's been going on with the kind of the UFO disclosure stuff, there's a big ramp up, and some people have said, and I'm going to go through it a little bit, that there's a big revelation coming in 2027. Obviously, a lot of the time we hear these arbitrary dates and years, and this big thing is supposed to happen, and it rarely ever does. But the May 2026 release date seems fairly close to what's going to happen almost the year. Sometime they're saying the year after. But let's go through some of what's been going on in terms of disclosure, just because I think it adds some interesting context to the timing and why Steven Spielberg might want to do this movie right now. So just from a high overview level, we had congressional hearings in July 2026. The House Oversight Committee held a hearing where former military officials, including David Grusch, testified about the U.S. government's involvement with UFOs. Grush claimed knowledge of a multi-decade program to retrieve and reverse engineer UAPs. And he said in one of the hearings, I believe, that they retrieved non-human biologics. So something from a life form related to those UAPs that wasn't human. And he also alluded to these non-human biologics not really being from a different planet, but possibly a different dimension. But that's getting into it. Let's keep going. There's been a push for greater transparency from governments regarding UFO sightings and research. This includes calls for clear reporting processes and public disclosure of findings. Again, a lot of cover-ups, years and years and years of cover-ups. More people are pushing, more people like you and me are aware of kind of the intricate kind of hiding away of all this stuff. And I think people are just like, there's a lot of money that's disappearing. I think people just want to know where it's going. Obviously, when Trump was president, he established Space Force. Why did he do that? I feel like unless there is a real threat going on, you wouldn't establish a whole Space Force to deal with that. Obviously, people made jokes about it. There's even the next Netflix series with Steve Carell. But I think there's more to that than maybe meets the eye. And then, of course, public interest has grown, and kind of the average person is less cynical about UFOs these days and are really asking questions. Again, it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to say, hey, what's going on? Is there something going on? I think it's okay to ask the questions without, going way over the top in conspiracy theory and demanding answers and getting sort of strange about it. But I think it is reasonable to ask a lot of questions. Some of the key figures, and there's plenty of key players. This is not even the beginning of the list. But some of the key players is David Grusch, who's just rose to prominence in this area. David Grusch is a former Air Force intelligence officer who testified about the government's secretive programs related to UAPs. Then we have John Ramirez, a former CIA agent who claimed that aliens will reveal themselves in 2027 and that the government is preparing the public for this event. So that's where the 2027 thing comes from. And I think there's a new TMZ show out about like kind of UFOs and strange happenings. Like they're really starting to unlock for the mass general public about aliens. I think it's a little, we've had decades of alien stuff, sci-fi stuff. A lot of people love I love alien stuff, but it seems like there's a lot of plays and more mass market media to introduce this concept to the general populace. Obviously, there's a lot of questions, philosophical, religious. There's a litany of questions that come with the potential of different species or aliens or, interdimensional travel, all kinds of stuff like that. I'm not going to get into that here. If we want to have another discussion on that, we could do it. You could watch the Y Files. You could watch Christian Harloff's Down to Earth. channel. He goes into more in-depth stuff and he has more regular news, but I am definitely somebody super interested in this. That's why I wanted to bring it up in relation to movie news. Then we have Lou Elizondo, who's another pretty popular face in this world. A former Pentagon official has hinted that significant developments in UFO disclosure could occur by 2027. So you have two people, I believe, saying 2027. So it seems to line up pretty well with this movie's release about a month earlier. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. There is a lot of talk that the government or parts of the government are really prepping people slowly through discourse, through dropping little nuggets here and there, that this is going to happen. And I think the best way to do it is to get one of the most prominent alien movie directors, or one of the biggest directors of all time, period, to make a movie about it, to help people cope with the fact that we might not be alone in this world or in this universe, or maybe many universes. So, you know, there's a lot of talk of underwater cities that they live in, stuff like that. There's, you know, all kinds of weird government programs that go back for decades that talk about, you know, UFO involvement, how close we've been involved with these beings. You know, it's been here since the beginning, kind of thing. But I don't know. This is definitely a question for another day, a bigger video, bigger topic. People have been talking about this stuff. There's whole channels dedicated to this if you want to find out more. This was only a dip in the pool, but I think this is really interesting, the Steven Spielberg thing. I think if he's going to get the message out, or somebody's going to get the message out to a large populace or global populace of people about the potential for aliens or UFOs or interdimensional beings, whatever it might be, that they exist and they're, you know, it's part of the world and our existence, then I think he's a good guy to do it and present the story in a way that does it compassionately while also giving you some information and getting you ready, possibly emotionally. Obviously, there's a lot of moving pieces to this. You can't just drop it. A lot of world systems can come crumbling down in hours if we find out that we're not alone. So it needs to be dealt with very carefully. We can't have, you know, they call it catastrophic disclosure, where things just come out of nowhere and kind of force us to reckon with things. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, comments, leave them in the comment section below, and subscribe if you're new here. Let me know if you want to do more videos like this. I definitely like this topic, so let's talk about it. See you later.